couldn't take your eyes off of it. You don't see that all the time. I mean, it's unusual.
Gale Sayers' arrival into the NFL was indeed something very, very different. The 1960s NFL running backs were power backs. Built like rhinos, Jim Brown and Ollie Matson were the running back poster boys. But for the first time in league history, words like grace, ballet, and poetry in motion were used to describe what was considered nothing short of magical.
Jesus lizards that walk on water. That was Gale Sayers.
Recognized as the best open field runner of his time, meet the man who broke the NFL. Gale Sayers was born on May 30th, 1943 in Wichita, Kansas. Growing up in a modest, hard-working family, Sayers learned the value of perseverance and determination from an early age. His father, Roger Sayers, was a mechanic who instilled in his children the importance of integrity and hard work. When Sayers was just 8 years old, the family moved to Omaha, Nebraska in search of better opportunities. It was in Omaha that Sayers' athletic abilities began to emerge. At Omaha Central High School, Sayers quickly established himself as a standout athlete, excelling in multiple sports including football, track, and field. His speed and agility caught the eye of many, earning the nickname the Kansas Comet. Former coach, Gale was a once-in-a-lifetime talent. Even at a young age, his combination of speed, vision, and work ethic set him apart. As Sayers' high school career flourished, college scouts took notice. Scholarship offers poured in, and ultimately, the Kansas Comet decided to take his talents across town to the University of Kansas. Sayers' college career was marked by flashes of greatness and several groundbreaking performances that cemented his status as one of the most electrifying college football players of all time. It was his varsity debut in 1962 that truly showcased his potential, leading the Big 8 Conference in rushing and finishing third in the nation with 1,125 rushing yards. His 7.1 yards per carry average was the highest of any player in the NCAA that season. Against Oklahoma State, he carried 21 times for a conference single-game record 283 yards to lead Kansas to a 36-17 comeback victory. In 1963, Sayers set an NCAA Division I FBS single-game record with a 99-yard run against Nebraska.
Against Nebraska, Sayers takes off from the 1-yard line and streaks 99 yards to the longest run from scrimmage in Kansas history.
Throughout his 3 varsity seasons, Sayers amassed over 4,020 all-purpose yards and scored 36 touchdowns, earning All-American honors in his junior and senior years. As impressive as that was, it was not until the NFL that Sayers' talents would really shock the football world. The Bears drafted Sayers 4th overall in the 1965 NFL Draft after having drafted Bears legend Dick Butkus with the 3rd overall pick. With 2 future Hall of Famers drafted back-to-back, it was obvious that the Bears hit the jackpot.
The incandescent Sayers goes careening into the corner with another touchdown. It was in this game that Gale began to gather his rave reports, and the reasons are obvious.
Sayers' rookie season in 1965 was nothing short of extraordinary. He set an NFL rookie record by amassing 2,272 all-purpose yards and 22 total touchdowns, a record that still stands today. His penultimate game of the season would end up being the coronation of what was to be the greatest rookie season of all time. On a cold, wet December morning on a muddy Wrigley Field, he unleashed on the unsuspecting San Francisco 49ers.
With that game just 2 minutes old, and the field slick from rain, Gale Sayers sprints past the prospectors for an 80-yard screen pass touchdown run.
The greatest performance in the National Football League history was that performance, and you had to be there to see it. But when you're on the field and part of it, it was even more exciting, believe me.
Sayers would finish with a total of 326 yards and 6 touchdowns, 4 rushing, 1 receiving, and taking 1 punt back to the house. The Bears beat the 49ers 61-20, winning 8 of their last 9 games thanks to superstar rookies Sayers on offense and Dick Butkus on defense. In one season, Gale Sayers didn't just rise to stardom, he redefined it. And he didn't stop there. The following game, Sayers recorded a rushing, a receiving, and a kickoff touchdown, all in the same game, a feat that went unreplicated until Tyreek Hill did it in 2016, over 50 years later. The NFL was on high alert. The Kansas Comet had arrived. Sayers went on to win the NFL rushing title the following season, racking up 1,231 yards and 8 touchdowns, averaging a whopping 5.4 yards per carry. He would go on to earn 5 consecutive first-team All-Pro honors. But as you can guess, all good things must unfortunately come to an end. In 1968, as Butkus dominated on defense and Sayers was on track to having the best season of his career, the unthinkable happened. One vicious hit from Kermit Alexander tore his ACL, MCL, meniscus cartilage, and several other ligaments in his right knee. With one hit, one of the most promising NFL careers of all time was shattered.
Sometimes I cry about it because I didn't get a chance to play the game. And I wish they would give me, I wish they had better doctors back then.
Knee surgeries back in 1968 were primitive at best, and in very few cases ever successful. Sayers had an enormous challenge ahead of him as preparations started for the upcoming season. No one believed he could make it, until he met fellow running back Brian Piccolo. He formed a special bond with Piccolo, one that would transcend racial barriers at a time when America was grappling with civil rights issues. The NFL had not been immune to what was happening across the country. Piccolo and Sayers became the first interracial roommates in the history of the NFL, pushing each other to the limits. At one point, Piccolo even built a complete rehab center in Sayers' basement, completely without his permission, to get him ready for the upcoming season. Their friendship became a symbol of unity and mutual respect, highlighted in Sayers' autobiography and the heartwarming film Brian's Song. Despite having started off slow in 1969, Sayers went on to lead the NFL in rushing with 1,032 yards, despite having noticeably lost speed and acceleration since the injury. Sayers had to reinvent himself, adopt a more physical running style as he went on to win the Comeback Player of the Year. That would be his last full season in the NFL, as he injured his other knee in 1970, resulting in 4 more appearances before his retirement in 1972. Sayers finished his career with 4,956 rushing yards, 1,307 yards receiving, 3,172 kick return yards, and a total of 56 touchdowns, and never played a playoff game. Despite Chicago having 2 of the greatest players of all time in Sayers and Butkus, the teams surrounding them over the years were just plain awful, sporting a 45-63 win-loss record over that time and never making the playoffs. In 1977, at the age of 34, Gale Sayers was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the youngest inductee ever. It was a bittersweet moment, celebrating an illustrious career that ended too soon. His influence on the game reshaped the running back position as we know it today. His style inspired future generations of players. Names like Barry Sanders, Marshall Faulk, and LaDainian Tomlinson all embody elements of Sayers' game, a testament to his everlasting legacy. Analysts and former players often rank him among the greatest, not just for his numbers, but for how he had changed the game. He is widely considered to be the best open field runner of all time. Beyond football, Sayers had a profound impact. He became a successful businessman and philanthropist, leveraging his platform to contribute to society. Gale Sayers passed away in September 2020 at the age of 77, his place in NFL history firmly cemented.